Alright, let's go and take a look at lesson 3.4. Lesson 3.4 is about graphing. F of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay. The first thing we need to talk about is even and odd functions. Okay, so even and odd functions. Okay, so a function is even when if you plug in negative x for all the x's, it stays the same as your original function. Okay, a function is odd if when you plug in negative x into the function, all the signs change. And it's neither if some signs change but not all signs change. So let's go and take a look at that. So f of x equals 2x. Okay, so if we were to plug in negative x for our x here, we get negative 2x. Okay, all of the signs changed, and there was only one term, so the term that we had, signs changed. So when the signs change and all of them change for all the terms that we do have, we call that an odd function. So this right here is an example of an odd function. Okay, taking a look at something similar, x squared minus 2. Okay, so if we were to plug in negative x for the x right there, okay, negative x times negative x is what that is. So negative x times negative x is positive x squared minus 2. And we notice that the signs stay the same with all of both of these functions, right? Positive x squared and negative 2, okay, stays the same. So that's what we call a even function. Okay, when we plug in a negative x and we get the same function as the original function. Okay, and let's take a look at something that would be neither. So 2x squared plus x minus 2. Okay, so plugging in a negative for the x, we get 2 times negative x squared plus negative x minus 2. Okay, so what this is 2 times negative x squared is negative x times negative x, which is positive x, so 2x squared. This would become minus x, right? This is minus x and minus 2. Okay, so what we notice is that this sign stays the same, this sign changes, and this sign stays the same. So because some signs changed and some signs stayed the same, we call this neither. Okay, for it to be even or odd, it has to follow the rules. Okay, so even stays the same as the original function, odd, all the signs change. Here, some signs changed and some didn't. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look into functions that look like this. Okay, so a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay, so what do we know? We have talked about stuff like this before, right? Where we had something in absolute value, but now we have it in a quadratic. So if the function is 1/2 x minus 4 squared, let's say plus 3, okay? There's a couple of things that we already know based on what we learned from chapter 1. So this half is less than 1, so we call that a vertical shrink. This is fine because it already has the minus sign, right? It's not plus sign where we have to rewrite it. It is already minus. So the h is 4, which means that you have to move it to the right by 4. And this is up by 3. Okay? So to find the vertex, we know that h is 4 and k is 3. Okay, so but making an xy table, if we made 5 values for this xy table, because it already fits into this x minus h and it's x minus 4, h is 4. So that's your middle value. Okay. Two numbers that are greater than that are 5 and 6, and two numbers that are less than that are 3 and 2. Okay. Okay. So if we were to plug in 2 into this function, really quickly, the vertex is hk, so 4, 3. Okay, so we know that this y value of our vertex is 3. So if we test it out, 1/2 of 4 minus 4, 4 minus 4 is 0, 0 squared is 0, half of 0 is 0, and 0 plus 3 is 3. Okay, so these numbers make sense. Let's try 2. So half of 2 minus 4 squared plus 3. Okay, 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4, so half of 4 plus 3, and half of 4 is 2 plus 3, so this should be 5. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at 3, and doing this with 3. Okay, so half of 3 minus 4 squared plus 3. Okay, 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. So half of 1 plus 3. Okay, so half of 1 is 0.5. So 0.5 plus 3 is 3.5. Okay, so this number in here should be 3.5. Okay. Doing the same thing with 5. Okay, we'll do half of 5 minus 4 squared plus 3. Half of 5 minus 4 is 1 squared plus 3. So 1 squared is 1, so half of 1 plus 3. Half of 1 is 0.5. 0.5 plus 3 is 3.5. Okay, so this number right here should be 3.5. Okay, and then doing the same thing with 6. Okay, so when we plug in 6 into here, we got 1/2 of 6 minus 4 squared plus 3. This would be half of 2 squared plus 3. 2 squared is 4, so half of 4 plus 3. Half of 4 is 2, and 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, so this should be 5. Okay, so you would be able to plot all these points on the graph.